Welcome to the Smith Sisters Talk Show. I'm Gwen.
And I am Crystal Smith.
And the topic for today's show is Echoes of Achievement. This show is commemorating Xavier University 100-year centennial and St. Katharine Drexel and the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament and their commitment to education and to social justice legacy.
And we have with us speak.
Hey, Nelson Alexander.
And what university did you attend?
Xavier University of Louisiana.
Okay.
Class of 1981.
So we've been being educated a very long time, and there's some information that I looked up, and it states in 1891, when we weren't anywhere around, Sister, well, we used to call her mother Katharine Drexel.
Right.
She founded the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament in 1891. And she was a wealthy heiress, and she must have really loved God because she gave her money
All of
to
it,
help
Crystal.
the Native Americans and the African American Catholics.
Okay. Our first guest for today is Nelson Alexander, my friend from XU, and we have another second half of friend. And Nelson, I wanted to let everybody know when I was a freshman, he adopted me as his little sister because he didn't want nobody like messing with me because I was a freshman. Okay,
I'm glad he adopted you. Glad he didn't adopt you in the neighborhood because
yeah.
I'm the big sister in the neighborhood.
You know what?
Okay?
You know what they were saying? I'm gonna say this and it's gonna make people laugh. On Xavier campus, there was like fresh meat. I was like, wait a minute. And then Nelson was like, wait a minute, leave Gwen alone now. Leave it alone. Okay. So Nelson is a graduate of John McDonald Senior High School, graduate of Xavier University, majoring in accounting, retired from Homeland Security, finishing as the training officer for New Orleans Field Office, member of the Studs Club, and member of Mount African, you could tell me.
Mount Olive African Methodist Episcopal Church of Slidell, Louisiana.
All right. Okay, and we are going to say that in addition, Nelson graduated from John McDonald High School, of course, Xavier University, in accounting. I said all that. So we are going to get into our conversation with Nelson. Okay, so why did you choose Xavier University?
I didn't. My mother chose it. I wanted to go out of state, but when she heard that, she said, I don't think so. I'd rather have you home. And I was going to be the pretty much the first one to go and complete college in the immediate family. So she had more faith in me in attending school and sticking with it. So she wanted to keep me home.
Okay, you attended St. All, is that correct?
Nope.
No.
John
No, I'm sorry, John
McDonald,
McDonald.
Chris.
So
That's the
you
second half of the
I'm sorry.
show.
You had the experience of being around females.
Absolutely.
Right, yes, but we, the ones who went to St. All, their parents had in mind to focus on their education completely. And that's the reason they placed their students, at least their children, in Catholic schools with either boys or girls. And at this time, I don't know if there's a difference because at De La Salle,
Yes.
it's co-ed.
It's co-ed now.
Yeah, it's co-ed now, and it seems everything is just flowing. Everything is, so we don't know if there is. Someone should really do a study on that and find out, is there really a major difference if the person is.
And what's the impact on their life? I know when they got to Xavier, they were saying that guys, they were wild. They were so excited to be around girls. It was ridiculous, but that was okay. We loved it. But go ahead, Chris.
Okay, how would you describe the value you from Xavier University, the experience of having that Catholic experience, and at Xavier?
Well, let's say this. It was immeasurable. I had a great time at Xavier University. The Catholic experience was not my primary mission going to Xavier. Even though I grew up 7th Ward, New Orleans, all of my friends were Catholic.
Okay.
All of my girlfriends were Catholic. I've been to probably more masses than I can think of.
Okay.
So,
Because let me interject here, because Mom would always say, I don't. If you did go out the night before and you partied, Sunday you better be in church. You better
Oh,
be
God,
at mass
yes.
on
Oh,
time.
God,
so
yes.
No, that wasn't my experience.
You're good.
That was my dad.
Okay.
Okay.
My dad made sure that if you went out at night, you better be up the next morning to do what you had to do, even though he wasn't going to church at all.
Well, the thing is, it paid off because
Yes.
my sister and I were unfortunately left here during Katrina because she was supposed to go and she was at a hospital and she couldn't leave until a person came to replace her.
Right.
And
it was
the
at
person
Kindred
left,
Hospital.
and we ended up being stuck here for 7 days. So you should have no. There were bodies in the water because there's a Holy Ghost is here, but there's an incinerator, not incinerator. I'm sorry, a grave site. Well, there was an incinerator prior to, and now 1 block back, the graves were there, and most of them from the water pushing up. Some of the bodies pushed up,
Unfortunately.
and we saw this at night, and we realized it was the day 7. It was time for us to get out. So we had to pray. We had our rosary beads. I mean, we were some praying sisters to get in that water, okay?
And not of a
Yes.
religious order, just sisters. Okay, let me ask Nelson, how did campus life shape your career path?
Campus life. It was a challenge with campus life because I was not on campus that much because I was always working. Ever since starting university over there, I had to work. So work, study, my off-campus work at Winn-Dixie.
Really? Oh, you
Yeah.
were at Winn-Dixie. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I worked all 4 years while I was at Xavier.
Oh, jeez.
But the time I did spend on campus, I really enjoyed it. And I wanted to do more while I was on campus, but time was limited.
Of the essence, yes.
But let me tell you this: some of the guys at St. Aug worked in, I think, when they were in 12th grade, and they said it was to show them and impress upon them the importance of making your own money. So you weren't the only one you were working at Xavier, but
Did you work
earlier,
before, Nelson?
they were working.
I worked starting in junior high school.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
great.
Started 9th grade
Oh,
working.
Lord.
But we started working the summer programs
Yes.
with NORD, and that was very good. They had the CETA program also, and that was a good experience.
So, Crystal, I just wanted to continue to get some of this information, background information on these 2 African-American males who decided to go to school and make something of themselves, which is terrific for me because I would have never met either one of them. And I'm glad that you guys attended Xavier University, okay? How much personal attention do you think you received from faculty members at Xavier to foster your education?
Oh, a lot. Those professors and teachers really put some time into you. And I remember writing a paper, and it wasn't too favorably towards some other people. And I remember bringing that paper to my instructor, who looked at it and said, this is not really not very nice, but if this is how you feel about it, you go ahead and submit it. And went through the grammar, the syntax, and all of that stuff. And I really appreciated that because he did not push back on me. He just told me to go forward with it.
That's good. And you went and you didn't have, did it really help you in life how to write and what have you since you were writing?
Oh, definitely. The writing. But I tell you what's more important. The speech. Dr. Melcher, I'll never forget him. We had to take a speech class. Remember when we went to Xavier and they had you to say certain words, and if you said a word and it you sounded like you were from New Orleans, then
Oh,
okay,
God.
you automatically go into speech class because we're gonna make sure you know how to properly enunciate and pronounce words
Pronunciate,
and so on and
yes.
so forth. And I credit Dr. Melcher with it. And I just told him that story last year when I saw him at an event at Xavier. Of course, he didn't remember, but he appreciated the story.
That was great.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people, when my sister and I have gone to various meetings outside of Louisiana, they don't really connect she and I to New Orleans because it was the sisters
Of the Blessed Sacrament.
who were from the north that you were trained. And hearing them speak, you just
They were like
acquired
your
that language.
professor.
Yes,
Yeah, they
yes.
were
You
they were like your professor at Xavier. They were like enunciate, pronunciate, enunciate, pronunciate, and that's why we speak the way we speak today because of phonics and them drilling it in us every day. Chris.
Okay, in your leisure time at Xavier University, what type of activities did you participate in?
Oh, ping pong and pool. Why? Because my work study was with Miss Bayham, who was the director of the student center, and one of her responsibility was over the game room, which she put me in charge of when I was at work. So it was easy just to go into the room and play ping pong and shoot pool, and that was
great.
work study. Now we had other things to do, of course, but when it was time for me to go in that room to make sure everything was set up right, it was clean, there was no other things going on in there, bop. I was doing it.
I'm glad that you took care of that.
I've taken some courses at Xavier also, but mine was where I was working at Holy Ghost and taking classes at Xavier University. So it was very structured for me. Gwen, what would you say about Xavier?
I think that I know that there was the ping pong room and all that kind of thing. I don't know. Our group kind of hung out. We went to the ping pong room, but we were hanging out in the Nelson's laughing at me, y'all. That's okay.
The game room.
The game room. Okay, he's correcting me. And we really hung out in the cafeteria more than anything. I don't know, Nelson, you weren't down there. But that's where we kind of hung out.
Oh, yeah, we played cards down in the cafeteria.
Yes,
and
true.
once a week, I think they had a time where you would go to the chapel and pray.
Yeah, and I just want to give some information quick. My birthday was coming up, and I was hanging out with my friends. They said, Gwen, why you didn't tell us your birthday was coming up? So they didn't have time to go and get a cake. So somebody went and bought me a Snickers, Nelson. Can you believe that? Oh. Slice that thing up, and they were singing happy birthday to me. I was like, oh, God, this is so touching. The love of XU, I'm telling you.
Okay, do you think, because we're about to get to a segment where we're going to have another guest on, what do you think you, as an African-American male, learned at Xavier University to get you from entering Xavier to graduating to entering the job market?
Discipline, perseverance, endurance. Those are the things that got me through Xavier. I told myself I would not be denied. I would not be delayed. I will do this, run this race, and I will graduate. Maybe not on time, but I knew I would graduate.
That's
and
great.
I knew I would need that type of fortitude to enter corporate America.
This is great. So if anybody's listening, regardless if you went to Xavier University, we are contributing to the HBCU commemoration with St. Katharine Drexel, Nelson, and the other alumni that's coming on right now. They just want to tell you education is important. Keep going to school. Like Nelson said, persevere. Even if you have to get out later than you anticipated, as long as you get it done.
And that's very important because you may not stay in the state of Louisiana. You may move to another state. If you have that education, you can go anywhere, not only in the United States, but outside of the United States. There are many foreign international students that come to the United States. And we, in return, are carrying the torch for our generation prior to those who suffered so that we can get to this point. So is there anything you would like to say, thanking your mom first and your dad for
they
allowing you?
supported
Because
us.
I'm going to tell you, I had an aunt, and she was saying putting the money in private schools, you could buy some property.
That's what she said.
I want to give a shout out to my cousin, Father Victor Correa. He was a motivating force here for me when I was at Xavier. And when I got stuck sometime and didn't know something, I would go to him right there at Notre Dame Seminary and say, hey, Victor, what you think about this? And he always had an answer for me. So shout out to my dear cousin, Father Vic.
That was real cool.
And I think you should mention your wife and your family also, because it's a unit that works together.
That's Crystal.
Yes, my wife, my dear wife, Cecilia, who's a graduate of Dillard University. And
Which
I
is
also
good.
have two sons. One son is a graduate of Xavier University, and my other son's a graduate of University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
That's
Great
right.
kids and a great wife and a great family.
Look, I want to ask you this. This is a question that I want to just kind of say. In the next half, I want to ask Tracy Griffin, who is coming on. But let me hurry and ask you this before Tracy comes on. How did you divert your energy from the negative energy out there of the boys who wasn't doing anything with their lives? How did you do that?
Well, once you saw those guys not doing anything, taking drugs, robbing people, breaking into homes, just not doing anything productive with their lives, that was a motivating factor to do better. And I had a stern father, believe it or not, really stern. So if he found out if we were doing anything that was not good, it would not be good for us. And I had a loving mother who would be very disappointed if she found out any of her kids were doing what they were not supposed to be. So
well, let me ask you this hardcore question, like, how did you stay away from them, if you could say that in a nutshell?
Work.
Okay, that's a good
I was
thing.
working a lot.
Okay.
So I went to work, went to school, and I went to work. I went to work, I went to school. And it was like that throughout the year. And like I said, I had two older brothers, and they really looked out for me. They saw potential with me more so than with themselves at different things, especially school.
Okay.
Let's say school. And they wanted me to do well. So they made sure that I stayed the course too. So I give them credit.
That is terrific. And I just wanted to thank Nelson, my dear friend, my big brother, who took up for me around XU to finish school, to tell him thank you for coming. He's going to hang around a little bit. But I want to tell you about my neighborhood. We came from a neighborhood whereby, it wasn't that for the families. It was a working class neighborhood. So children had to work. Families had to work. It wasn't a point whereby, they can go to college. My family afforded me the opportunity to go to college. I did have a scholarship to Xavier University, also to USL, and also I had a scholarship to the Peabody School of Music, and all of that originated from attending NOCA, New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, where I was a lyric soprano. Now I think I'm just a first soprano because as you grow older, your octave drops. But I did have that opportunity to be culturally enriched. Now, the second half of our show, we will be talking to Tracy Griffin, and who was in the music department. He was in instrumental music. I was in voice. But say hello to everybody out there, Tracy.
Hello, everybody.
All right.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Gwen.
All right. I love
and
it.
to all the alumni from Xavier University, all our friends, because he's a musician, and a lot of people loved him and supported him in that field.
We did. Okay, so Mr. Tracy Griffin graduated from St. Augustine High School. He played in the concert and jazz band at Xavier at St. Aug. He graduated from Xavier University, receiving his Bachelor of Arts in Music, formed his own band, Track One, and we would follow that band all over the city, meeting Xavier students because we wanted to support our students. And he also performed with B.B. King, the Four Tops, Ivan Neville, Cyril Neville, and the Uptown All-Stars, Gino Vanelli, Lenny Kravitz, Stevie Wonder, Cyndi Lauper, and a lot of celebrity luminaries. And that's a lot. That's a lot, Tracy.
So why don't you tell us about your first experience leaving the United States and perhaps going abroad?
That was wonderful, to say the least. It was a time that music was, American music and New Orleans music in particular, was appreciated the most in foreign countries, particularly Europe. There was great interest in what we were doing, and New Orleans music in particular was something that they were definitely interested in.
That's good. I also have an alumni by the name of Irvin Mayfield, and Irvin tried to get me on the road to travel out of the country to go perform with him. And I was like, Irvin, this is not the time for me to do this. I am no longer performing like I used to, but I never wanted to like go out of the country and do that. Was it scary for you, Tracy?
No, not really. It was really comparable to being home in a lot of ways. But there was language barriers that you had to overcome if you were interested in learning other languages.
Yes.
You had to try to adapt, listen well to what people were saying and what the meanings behind it was. And New Orleans, we have our own vernacular, and we talk a certain kind of way.
Lingo, we do.
Yeah. And when you're in Europe, they might ask you 2 or 3 times what you said.
What are you saying?
yeah,
I
yeah.
get that. I
Because-
get that.
Because of that, So that was really interesting, along with the scenery and the
ambiance of the place.
Yes, and the seriousness that they had for arts and music was astounding.
Okay, you mentioned arts and music. Why did you choose Xavier University?
Xavier was on my radar.
Okay.
But I originally I wanted to go to Boston to Berkeley.
All right.
But my mom had different ideas for me because of a tragedy we endured a year before I graduated from high school, and I wound up going to Xavier. I knew a lot of the teachers that was at Xavier, so I knew it was a good school and it would offer me something.
And how much time did you spend in your discipline?
In music.
Every available moment.
Oh, Jesus.
Any time that I had that I couldn't be in class. If I wasn't gonna be at school, then I was at home listening to music. I had to train my ears. I had to listen to what my particular the things that I liked the most about playing music. I had to listen to those styles in those particular the
different genres, you would say.
Yes.
Okay, I think we were talking earlier in the studio, and you were saying, how did you even become familiar or even like music? I think you said one of your relatives.
I think he told me 5 years old. I don't know who that relative was that introduced. So when did you tell our listening audience about that, Tracy?
Well, I was 7 when I actually started playing trumpet. But I had a sister. My oldest sister was a music major at Xavier.
Okay.
And her and my second oldest sister both went to Xavier Prep prior to going to Xavier. So music was in the family. My mother sang. My father played clarinet.
That's great.
We were always doing something musically at the house.
So it was in your DNA, to say the least.
I'd say that.
Yeah, and by the way, my mom was a great singer, and my father, he played by ear. Is that what the way they terminology is correct?
Yes.
That's great. So that's why I started singing, because I heard my mama singing. I said, "Mom, you have a beautiful voice." She says, "Gwen, you have it too." So, just start singing and practicing. And it took me a lot of places. I'm telling you, I performed for Winnie Mandela, with Feed the Hungry Tour, performed with Vince Williams from The Guiding Light, who was a soap opera star. I was also listed to perform for dignitaries when they came in to Washington, D.C. Just a little bit about me. So I want to find out how much personal attention did you receive from the music faculty at Xavier University, and did they really help you and foster you in your being a musician?
Discipline, music discipline, life discipline. They were all. I gotta give credit to everyone. Malcolm Breeder, Nathaniel Coleman, Michael Dixon, John Fernandez.
Okay.
That was my mentor. He was my main mentor. James Oakes. Remember Dr. Oakes?
I remember him. Yes, I did.
Yeah, I recently saw Dr. Oakes at a LPO performance, and he looks exactly the same.
Wow.
That's him.
Yep. He's exactly the same. David DeLille, all of the teachers that we had at Xavier were prolific in
Wow.
what they did.
Okay.
Thank God, because it lets the teachers know that we respect them, we love them, and they helped us to get to the point where we are. And when you think about someone and talk about, okay, this is what this teacher did for me.
Yes.
That means that they were a part of your life to get to the point where we are now.
Yes.
I know it's a blessing to have had them.
I think so.
It is.
I think so because Tracy and I shared with Tracy that I met Clyde Kerr, and Tracy said he knew Clyde Kerr. So I just want to give I know he's deceased, but to his family members, I think Clyde Kerr did die, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, to his family members, he gave a lot to the NOCA grads,
Yes.
NOCA students. So
He gave a lot to New Orleans music as a whole.
Okay, what would you like to say to our listening audience, the young people that are out there that find it difficult to go to college or don't choose to go because they feel it's a waste of time?
Well, there are all kinds of grants that's available. That if you can talk to somebody that's that you get a mentor and find out, how you can get into school. If you desire to go there, if you have a skill that you want to emancipate,
correct.
Then you need to talk to someone and see how you can be helped if you don't have financial assistance.
Okay, why don't you tell us how they can contact you or have you to perform for them?
Because you're still performing, right, Tracy?
yes,
So why
I
don't you
am.
give a shout out to that?
Well, I'm always playing with somebody. Right now, I'm with Rockin' Doopsie and the Zydeco Twisters.
Okay.
I still
love
have.
Cajun music.
Yeah, that's Creole. Okay. There's track one is still in existence.
All
after
right.
47 years. Yep. We still play. In fact, we play tomorrow.
Where?
It's gonna be at the Jefferson Orleans. We're playing for a Halloween party for
Okay.
a group called the Downtowners.
Okay. We thank you for coming on.
Definitely.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it was a blessing to, feel like old friends again. So please remember to listen to the Smith Sisters show on WVOG 600 AM each Saturday of the month, 6:30 until 7 p.m. And definitely, we are on Twitter. Formerly X is now Twitter. And
Stay
please
tuned
stay
to
tuned.
to the Smith Sisters show on our next show, which is Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Nelson. Thank you for coming.